I'm 6 months postpartum and starting to feel like myself again. So I wanted to share some of the anxieties I had when I initially became a mom and talk about how I got over them while I get ready. When we first brought him home from the hospital, the thing that I was most worried about is that he would stop breathing. And so I would rarely put him down. He would be in my arms pretty much all day. And the only time I would put him down is when he was sleeping in his bassinet at night. But then constantly throughout the night, I would wake up and like put my hand on his chest to see if he was still breathing. It took me a super long time to learn that newborns are actually pretty resilient and they're a lot tougher than we give them credit for. Even still knowing this, I do worry about him not breathing a lot, especially when he's sleeping. I'm checking on him pretty frequently. I eventually learned that the only time that you need to be super concerned is if they're in a container, because their chin can fold down, which will compromise their airway. Especially if they're sleeping, and then also if they're face down, if anything's blocking their nose or the mouth, that's when they can suffocate. Other than that, if they're on their back and they're in like a bassinet or an infant mattress, there isn't a lot to worry about. So with sleeping, his bassinet is right on my side of the bed, so I sleep next to him. And for some reason, I got it in my head that if I turned in my sleep to where my back is facing him, that would give him permission to stop breathing, or that if I was not facing him, he would think that I didn't love him and I didn't like him. So if I woke up in the middle of the night and I had turned around, I would panic and I would check on him and tell him I loved him and told him I was still there. Something that helped me eventually was learning that infants can't see, so he wouldn't be able to tell with his eyesight if I was there, and it's more about the smell. So me just sleeping next to him, no matter what way I was facing, he would know I was there and he would know that I do love him. This next one, I don't think I'll ever get over. It's something that I feel like is actually kind of important to have anxiety about. But I have two big dogs. One is a bully breed and the other one is a shepherd mix. So they're very big and they are super sweet dogs, but they don't know their own size. We did a really good job of transitioning our dogs to having a baby at home, and they know what the boundaries are. But I remember that I was worried about them hurting my baby all the time. I know on the news, I always hear, oh, it's our family dog, and we never expected anything. They don't have any history of violence or attacking, and then that's when a child or a baby gets hurt. So that's something that was always on my mind, knowing it could happen without any warning. So what I did initially was I never left my dogs in the same room as my baby. If I needed to like go to the kitchen to grab food, or I needed to do laundry downstairs, or if I needed to go to the bathroom, I would literally put my dogs in a separate room, close the door, so they couldn't even go near my baby if I was not there to watch it. Something I still do. I pretty much never leave my dogs alone with my baby. And then if I was not holding him, I would put him in the bassinet on the tallest setting so my dogs could not even get close to him. They could sniff him like through the mesh on the side, but like that was as close as they could get. So that really helped calm my anxiety of him being hurt by my pets. But it is something that I still am conscious of because it's important to be responsible as a dog owner. There is a big creator that I follow, and she is very open about her postpartum anxiety journey. I remember that she shared she was anxious to go out in public because she constantly thought people were trying to kidnap her baby, and she wasn't comfortable being around strangers because she always thought someone was trying to take her baby. And at some point I remembered this, and I realized I did not share those feelings. So I became really hard on myself. I felt really guilty that I did not think people were kidnapping my baby. I thought that I was a bad mom because I wasn't worried about people wanting to steal him. And I don't remember how I got over that, but I eventually did forgive myself. And it's not something that you need to put pressure on yourself about, that if you don't relate to every single thing you see online. It's okay if you don't have anxiety. Not everybody has that postpartum. I was never diagnosed with postpartum anxiety or depression, so I feel really blessed about that. And it was just a weird thing of not relating to something that I feel like should have happened to me naturally. Anxiety isn't natural. It's natural to worry about your child and to have strong feelings about them, but thinking people are out to get you all the time, that is something that needs to be addressed with a doctor. Do not feel bad if you don't have those exact same feelings. Also, something I learned that did help me is that if you are breastfeeding, when you are feeding your baby, there's a hormone that gets released that makes you protective of your baby because you're both vulnerable. And so it makes you kind of angry and more like aware of your surroundings. That's where the term mama bear comes from. So it's something that just happens to your body naturally, a hormone that happens and you can't control it. And that is what causes some of those feelings of like anxiousness. And learning that helped me understand that not everything is in my control and that there's just some feelings that happen to you. And it's just part of becoming a mother. I hope that wherever you are on your postpartum and motherhood journey, that you know that you are not alone and that it does get better. Bye.